Wow. All praises to Hawaii. All praises to Hawaii. And we back on it. Y'all excuse me. I'm a little excited about this one. Got some questions on the board. Are the 400 years almost done? Well, what if the second Exodus was on the way? Would you be ready? All right. Would you be ready? So, the mission of this video today is not to prove if the 400 years are almost done. It's not to prove if the second Exodus is on the way. I'm worried about question number 3. Would you be ready? Would you be ready? I got reminded again the other day that, hey, you got to do your job. And I realized this is my job. Just like the prophet Ezekiel, I was told to be a watchman, warn the people. And this is what I get the most joy out of. These type of videos. So yeah, the first 2 questions on the board, we're going to dig into it. But my whole mission today is to make you be aware and to make you ready. All right? That's what we here for today. So let's get it, man. I'm excited. I like talking about stuff like this. And we just going to jump straight into it. Genesis chapter 15. Verse 1. After these things, the word of Yahweh came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram. I am your shield and your exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Yahweh, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me you have given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is my heir. And behold, the word of Yahweh came unto him, saying, This shall not be your heir, but he that shall come forth out of your own generation shall be your heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now towards the heavens, and count the stars, if you be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall your seed be. And he believed in Yahweh, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am Yahweh that brought you out of your of the Chaldeans, of the Chaldeans, to give you this land to inherit it. And he said, Yahweh, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she goat of 3 years old, a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto he said unto Abram, know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. All right, there we go. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterward they shall come out with a great substance. And you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again. For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down, it was dark. Behold, in a smoking furnace, and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day, Yahweh cut a covenant with Abram, saying, unto your seed have I given this land from the river of Mizraim unto the great river, the river Parah. All right, stop right there. So, this is the famous 400-year prophecy that some say already happened. Some say hasn't happened. But we're going to dig into this. All right, because for those who claim that it already happened, they like to look towards this scripture in Exodus, right? Exodus 12:40. All right, now the length of time the Israelite people lived in Egypt was 430 years. All right, so I got multiple translations on here, and they all say pretty much the same thing, except when you get to the Septuagint. In the Septuagint, it reads, and the sojourning of the children of Israel while they sojourned in the land of Egypt in the land of Canaan was 430 years. All right. So in the Septuagint, it's not just Egypt. It's also the land of Canaan. But they took this out of all of the translations, the modern day translations, but they still left it in the Septuagint. All right. And that's important, man. All right. Because when you break it down, right? All right. You break it down. In the Septuagint, it says land of Egypt and the land of Canaan, 430 years. All right. It's also in the Samaritan Torah. Josephus wrote that, and then they got it in Galatians too. All right. But the later Masoretic copies remove the land of Canaan. Now, that right there is a flag on the play. All right, when they start removing stuff, switching stuff, just so it can fit a narrative, you might want to look into that. All right, because why would they take that out? Well, the 430 years is not Egypt only. All right. Genesis 12:4, Abram enters Canaan at age 75. It ends Exodus 12:41, Israel exits Egypt. So the 430 years spans Canaan, sojourning in Canaan, Egypt sojourning, and multiple generations, not slavery only. All right. The 400-year prophecy to Abraham, all right, which we just read in Genesis, says 400. All right. Doesn't say 430. It says 400. If you want to get technical about it. But it's important to note, important details is strangers does not mean slaves the entire time when it says they'll be strangers. Afflicted, not necessarily iron bondage the whole period. No mention of Egypt only. All right. Doesn't just say Egypt, it says Canaan. And this begins before Egypt. Right? When does the 400 years begin? The affliction does not begin in Egypt. It begins when Ishmael mocks Isaac. All right? Put Paul aside. The Torah itself shows that Isaac was persecuted. Abraham's seed began being afflicted in Canaan. Isaac was about 5 years old. From that moment, 400 years lands exactly at the Exodus. So 400 years equals affliction of Abraham's seed. 430 is the total sojourning from Abraham to Exodus. So it's a difference, man. Hold on. How long were the Israelites actually in Egypt, though? All right. You go to Exodus 6, 16 through 20. Levi lived 137 years. Kohath lived 133 years. Amram lived 137. Moses was born to Amram. Even if each father's sons at the very end of life, the absolute maximum is 407. But that is impossible because Levi entered Egypt already alive. Kohath entered Egypt as a child, and Amram was born in Egypt. Moses was 80 at the Exodus. So when you subtract the overlapping lifespans, the actual time in Egypt comes out to about 210 years. Or 210 to 215 years is the actual time they spent in Egypt. This is the standard scriptural calculation, not a modern invention. When did hard bondage actually begin? That was after Joseph dies. A new king arises. Then oppression begins. So the first generations lived peacefully in Egypt. Enslavement began midway, not at the entry. Most scholars who actually respect the genealogies agree that the hard bondage only lasted 80 to 100 years, not 400. Okay? All right? So, to sum that up, the Israelites did not spend 400 years in Egypt. The 400-year prophecy is not Egypt only. The Septuagint preserves the correct scope. Later traditions compress the timeline incorrectly. All right, I called this out. Chopping it up with the robot again. And the robot didn't even push back. All right. Why this matters prophetically. The 400 years is a pattern, not a location. Includes sojourning, affliction, and displacement. Allows for multiple fulfillments without breaking Torah chronology. That's why people keep revising it today. All right, that's what the robot said. But as we can clearly see, the math ain't mathing over there in Exodus. For people that want to claim the 400-year prophecy is already done. It happened over there before Moshe let them out, right? Not quite. All right. You're going to have to study a little bit more. But yeah, man, big shout out to Nine Spiral, man, the Ock Nine Spiral, man. He did a video on the year the truth about the 400-year prophecy, man. It was a good video. Go check that out. All right. I think that's why I first acquired this kind of knowledge. All right, because I was going right along with it, you know what I'm saying, for a while. Like, I don't know, I don't know if it happened or if it didn't happen, but after watching the Ox video, I clearly see that it wasn't then. And we gonna get to it. All right, and then we gonna go over here to let's stroll over here to the Apocalypse of Abraham. All right, because Genesis is good if you want like a historical breakdown, but some of these other books that they left out, they give you more insight. So that's what we're doing. We're getting a little bit more insight over here in the Apocalypse of Abraham. All right, y'all give me one sec. All right, we're going to go over here to chapter 19. All right, so we can get a little bit context. It reads, and a voice came to me out of the midst of the fire, saying, Abraham, Abraham. I said, here I am. And he said, consider the expanses which are under the firmament on which thou art now placed, and see how on no single expanse is there any other but he whom that thou hast sought, and who hath loved thee. And while he was yet speaking, and lo, the expanses open, and beneath me the heavens. And I saw upon the seven firmament upon which I stood a fire widely extended, and a light and dew, and the multitude of angels, and a power of invisible glory, over the living creatures which I saw. But no other being did I see there. And I looked from the mountain in which I stood downwards to the sixth firmament, and saw there a multitude of angels of pure spirit, without bodies, who carried out the commands of the fiery angels, who were upon the eighth firmament. And I was standing suspended over them. And behold, upon this firmament there were no other powers of any other form, but only angels of pure spirit, like the power which I saw on the seventh firmament. And he commanded that the sixth firmament should be taken away. And I saw there on the fifth firmament the powers of the stars which carry out the commands laid upon them. And the elements of the earth obeyed them. All right. And the eternal mighty one said to me, Abraham, Abraham. And I said, here I am. Consider from above the stars which are beneath thee, and number them for me, and make known to me their number. And I said, when can I? For I am but a man of dust and ashes. And he said to me, as the number of the stars in their power, so will I make thy seed a nation and a people set apart from me, and my heritage with as a, I ain't gonna say the whole name, as a. All right, you see that? So he's got it. I make thy seed a nation and a people set apart for me, and my heritage with as a. Notice that. And I said, O eternal mighty one, let thy servant speak before thee, and let not thine anger kindle against thy chosen one. Lo, before thou leadest me up, as a invade against me. How then, while he is not now before thee, hast thou constituted thyself with him? And he said to me, look now beneath thy feet at the firmaments, and understand the creation foreshadowed in its expanse, the creatures existing on it, and the age prepared according to it. And I saw beneath the surfaces of the feet, and I saw beneath the sixth heaven, and what was therein, and then the earth and its fruits, and what moved upon it, and its animate beings. and the power of his men, and the ungodliness of their souls, and the righteous deeds, and the beginnings of their works, and the lower regions, and the perdition therein, the abyss, and its torments. I saw there the sea, and its islands, and its monsters, and its fishes, and Leviathan, and his dominion, and his camping ground, his caves, and the world which lay upon him, and his movements, and the destruction of the world on his account. I saw their streams, and the rising of their waters, and their windows. And I saw there the Garden of Eden and its fruits, the source of the stream issuing from it, its trees and their bloom, and those who behave righteously. And I saw therein their foods and blessedness. And I saw there a great multitude, men and women and children, half of them on the right side of the picture, and half on the left side of the picture. And I said, O eternal, mighty one, what is this picture of the creatures? He said to me, this is my will with regard to those who exist in the divine world council. And it seemed well pleasing before my sight. And then afterwards I gave commandment to them through my word. And it came to pass whatever I had determined to be was already planned beforehand in this picture. And it stood before me ere it was created, as thou hast seen. And I said, oh, wow, mighty and eternal, who are the people in this picture on the side and on that? And he said to me, these which are on the left side are the multitude of the peoples which have formerly been in existence, and which are after thee destined, some for judgment and restoration, and others for vengeance and destruction at the end of the world. All right, we're talking end of the world, right? But these which are on the right side of the picture, they are the people set apart for me of the peoples with as a, right? See that? They are the people set apart for me of the peoples with as a. These are they whom I have ordained to be born of thee and to be called my people. All right, them Israelites, right? Now look again in the picture. Who it is who seduced Eve, and what is the fruit of the tree? And thou wilt know what there shall be, and how it shall be to thy seed among the people at the end of days of the age. And so far as thou canst not understand, I will make known to thee. For thou art well pleasing in my sight, and I will tell thee what is kept in my heart. And I looked into the picture, and my eyes ran to the side of the Garden of Eden. And I saw there a man very great in height, and fearful in breadth, incomparable in aspect, embracing a woman who's likewise approximated to the aspect and shape of the man. And it was standing under a tree of the Garden of Eden. And the fruit of this tree was like the appearance of a bunch of grapes of the vine. And behind the tree was standing, as it were, a serpent in form, having hands and feet like a man, wings on his shoulders, 6 on the right side, 6 on the left. And they were holding the grapes of the tree in their hands, and both were eating it, whom I had seen embracing. And I said, who are these mutually embracing? Who is this who is between them? And what is the fruit which they are eating, O mighty eternal one? He said, this is the human world. This is Adam. And this is their desire upon the earth. This is Eve. But he who is between them representeth ungodliness, their beginning on the way to perdition. Even, here you go again, as a. And I said, O eternal mighty one, why hast thou given to such power to destroy the generation of men in their works upon the earth? He said to me, they who will do evil, they who will evil or to do evil, and much I hated it, and those who do it, over them I gave him power, and to be beloved of them. And I answered and said, O eternal mighty one, wherefore hast thou willed to effect that evil should be desired in the hearts of men, since thou indeed art angered over that which was willed by thee at him who is doing what is unprofitable in thy counsel? He said to me, being angered at the nations on thy account, and on account of the people of thy family who are to be separated after thee, and thou seest in the picture the burden of destiny that is laid upon them. The burden of destiny laid upon them. And I will tell thee what shall be and how much shall be in the last days. Look now at everything in the picture. And I looked and saw there what was before me in creation. I saw Adam and Eve existing with him, and with them the cunning adversary, and Cain, who acted lawlessly through the adversary, and the slaughtered Abel, and destruction brought and caused upon him through the lawless one. I saw their impurity in those who lust after it, its pollution, their jealousy, and the fire of their corruption in the lowest parts of the earth. I saw their theft and those who hasten after it, and the arrangement of their retribution, the judgment of the great assize. I saw their naked men, the foreheads against each other, and their disgrace and their passion, which they had against each other, and their retribution. I saw their desire, in her hand the head of every kind of lawlessness, and her scorn and her waist assigned to perdition. I saw there the likeness of the idol of jealousy, having the likeness of woodwork such as my father was wont to make, and its statue was of glittering bronze. And before it a man, and he worshipped it, and in front of him an altar, and upon it a boy slain in the presence of the idol. But I said to him, what is this idol? Or what is the altar? Or who are they that are sacrificed? Or who is the sacrificer? Or what is the temple which I see that is beautiful in art? Its beauty being like the glory that lieth beneath thy throne. He said, hear, Abraham, this which thou seest, the temple and altar in beauty, is my idea of priesthood of of my glorious name, in which dwelleth every single prayer of man, the rise of kings and prophets, and whatever sacrifice I ordain to be offered to me among my people, who are to come out of thy generation. But the statue which thou sawest is mine anger, wherewith the people anger me who are to proceed for me from thee. But the man whom thou sawest slaughtering, that is he who inciteth murderous sacrifices, of which are a witness to me of the final judgment, even at the beginning of creation. I will get a little bit more. And I said, O eternal mighty one, wherefore hast thou established that it should be so? And then proclaimed the knowledge thereof. He said to me, Abraham, understand what I say to thee, and answer me as I question thee. Why did thy father Terah not listen to thy voice? Why did he not cease from the devilish idolatry until he perished and his whole household with him? And I said, O eternal, mighty one, it was entirely because he did not choose to listen to me, but I, too, did not follow his works. And he said to me, hear, Abraham, as the counsel of thy fathers in him, as the counsel is in thee, so also is the counsel of my will in me ready for the coming days, before thou hast knowledge of these, or canst see with thine eyes what is future in them, how those of thy seed will be. Look in the picture. And I looked and saw, lo, The pitcher swayed, and from it emerged on his left side a heathen people, and they pillaged those who were on the right side, men and women and children. Some they slaughtered, others they retained with themselves. Lo, I saw them run towards them through 4 entrances, and they burnt the temple with fire, and the holy things that were therein they plundered. I said, O Eternal One, lo, the people that sprang from me, whom thou hast accepted, the hordes of the heathen do plunder, and some they kill, while others hold fast as aliens. And the temple they have burnt with fire, and the beautiful things therein they do rob and destroy. O Eternal Mighty One, if this be so, wherefore hast thou now lacerated my heart, and why should this be so? He said to me, Hear, Abraham, what thou hast seen shall happen on account of thy seed, who anger me by reason of the statute which thou sawest, on account of the human slaughter in the picture, through zeal in the temple, as thou sawest, so shall it be. I said, O Eternal, Mighty One, may the works of evil wrought in ungodliness now pass by, but show me rather those who fulfilled the commandments, even the works of his righteousness, for thou canst do this. And he said to me, The time of righteousness meeteth them first, through the holiness flowing from kings and righteous dealing rulers, whom I at first created in order from such to rule among them. But from these issue men who care for their interests, as I have made known to thee, and thou hast seen. And I answered and said, O mighty, eternal one, hallowed by thy power, be favorable to my petition. For this hast thou brought me up here, and show me. As thou hast brought me up to thy height, so make this known to me, thy beloved one, as much I ask, whether what I saw shall happen to them for long. And he showed me a multitude of his people, and said to me, On their account, through 4 issues, as thou sawest, I shall be provoked by them. And in these my retribution for their deeds shall be accomplished. But in the 4th outgoing of 100 years, all right, this is where you get that 400 years, in 1 hour of the age, the same is 100 years. And it shall be in misfortune among the heathen, but 1 hour in mercy and continually as among the heathen. And I said, O Eternal Mighty One, how long a time is an hour of the age? And he said, 12 years have I ordained of this ungodly age to rule among the heathen in thy seed. And until the end of the times, it shall be as thou sawest. And do thou reckon and understand and look into the picture. So this whole time we've been talking end times, right? Okay. This where it get good, right? And I looked and saw a man going out from the left side of the heathen. And there went out men and women and children from the side of the heathen, many hosts, and worshipped him. And while I still looked, there came out from the right side, and some insulted that man, while some struck him. Others, however, worshipped him. And I saw how these worshipped him. And Azay ran and worshipped him. Azay ran and worshipped him. And having kissed his face, he turned and stood behind him. And I said, O Eternal Mighty One, who is the man insulted and beaten? And who is worshipped by the heathen with Azay? And he answered and said, Hear, Abraham, the man who thou sawest insulted and beaten again and again, worship, that is the relief granted by the heathen to the people who proceed from thee in the last days. In this 12th hour of the age of ungodliness, but in the 12th year of my final age, I will set up this man from thy generation, whom thou sawest issue from my people, this one all will follow. See this? All will follow. And such as are called by me will join. Even. Alright? So you see this, right? Now you look at the side notes, right? It said what? The man is clearly intended to be who? JC. Alright? This one that's getting beaten as he done ran up and started worshiping him, and he kissed him on the face. The side note is telling you that this is clearly intended to be JC. But check out the side note, right? Because he can't understand it. He's saying his emergence from the left side of the heathen is curious. If the text is in order, it must apparently refer to the emergence into prominence of the early Christian church in the Gentile world. It clearly cannot refer to racial origin, for it is stated further on the chapter, the man sprang from Abraham's generation and God's people. But in the view of definite statement below, this man from thy generation whom thou sawest from my people, it is better to suppose that the text here is out of order. So now it's out of order, see? Now it's out of order when JC pop up, right? Alright, and then he said the worship of Christ by the devil as is a striking feature in this representation. It is difficult to determine its exact significance here. Now it's difficult to determine, huh? Does it reflect the Jewish? Listen to how he try to explain it. Does it reflect the Christian feeling that access of so large a part of heathen world to Christianity endangered the purity of the new faith by inevitably bringing in its train a large admixture of heathenism? Say what? They don't even know what they're talking about no more. It can hardly mean that as had been truly converted. Indeed, his homage is significantly depicted as a lip homage. Kissed his face, the treacherous kiss of Judas. So now they're trying to say, they turn this into the Judas story. Is that where the Judas story come from? This right here? Perhaps the real meaning is that the kingdom of evil and the satanic powers have been vanquished by Christ. How you get that from that, bro? What? The homage of Azay, the head of the unredeemed heathen world, marked the triumph of Christ. Ah, there they go. See what a Christian will do? He will read this and see as he ran up and worshiped him. But what did he tell them? He said, this is the relief granted by the heathen to the people who proceed from thee in the last days. Now let's get some more about it real quick. Alright. Where we was at? Alright. I will set up this man from thy generation whom thou sawest from my people. This one all will follow, and such are called by me will join even those who change in their counsels, and those whom thou sawest emerge from the left side of the picture. The meaning is, there shall be many from the heathen who set their hopes upon him. And as for those whom thou sawest from thy seed on the right side, some insulting and striking, others worshiping, many of them shall be offended at him. He, however, he is what? Is testing. He doing what? He testing those who have worshipped him of thy seed. The New Testament, right? That's where you get the JC story, right? This is a test. He is testing those who have worshipped him of thy seed in that 12th hour of the end. I know I can verify this. A lot of my family is still worshiping him to this day. They're getting tested, and they failing right now, y'all. They failing hard. In that 12th hour of the end, with the view to shortening the age of ungodliness. shortening the age of ungodliness. Yeah, time just seem like it get faster every day. Just the end is shortening the age of ungodliness. Before the age of the righteous beginneth to grow, my judgment shall come upon the lawless heathen through the people of thy seed who have been separated for me. In those days I will bring up all creatures of the earth 10 plagues through misfortune and disease and sighing of the grief of their soul. Thus much will I bring upon the generations of men that be upon it on account of the provocation and the corruption of its creatures, whereby they provoke me. And then shall righteous men of thy seed be left in the number which is kept secret by me, hastening in the glory of my name to the place prepared beforehand for them, which thou sawest devastated in the picture. And they shall live and be established through sacrifices and gifts of righteousness and truth in the age of righteous, and shall rejoice in me continually. And they shall destroy those who have destroyed them, and shall insult those who have insulted them. And of those who defame them, they shall spit in the face, scorned by me, while they, the righteous, shall behold me full of joy, rejoicing with my people, and receiving those who return to me in repentance. See, Abraham, what thou hast seen, and hear what thou hast heard, and take full knowledge of what thou hast come to know. Go to thy heritage, and lo, I am with you forever. Well, I could keep going, man, because this is good, man. We just keep going, but as we can see, JC is what? Testing in that New Testament, right? All right. So this was just to get some more clarity. All this was talking with end times. Okay? This 400-year prophecy. Now, I'm not trying to tell you I know, the end date or anything like that, but, we just checking it out. All right? Because I did find some good, what they call coincidences, right? Or signs. But let me see something real quick. Four. Okay, let's go to this footnote right here, right? Number 4, all right? They got this linked up with John 9:66. Oh, is that the one I want to get? No, that's John 6. Oh, no, that ain't the one. Okay, hold on. That's John 6. Wait a minute. Okay. Now, we was talking. Why did Azzy, right? Why did he run up and kiss that man? All right? Because you know who Azzy is, right? The roles of Azay and Azra. They are two enigmatic figures. Both angels represent distinct aspects. See if we can get this in. Can't get it in? Of the divine relationship with humankind. Azay, often associated with sin and atonement. Azray is known as the angel of death. This exploration delves into their roles, highlighting their impact on human understanding. All right, this is to get a little backdrop on it. All right, so Azay, who we talked about, he got a heritage with Hawaii, right? is famously associated with the Day of Atonement ritual described in Leviticus 16, where a goat was designated for Azeh and sent into the wilderness, symbolically carrying away the sins of the people of Israel. Hmm. Now, who that sound like? Huh? He was sacrificed. A goat was sacrificed and sent into, well, it was sent into the wilderness for the sins of the people of Israel. This ritual served as means of purification, emphasizing the power of collective repentance. The concept of a scapegoat illustrates humanity's desire to expel sin, right? Allowing for divine forgiveness and renewal. Mm. All right. He's also in the book of Enoch, fallen angel who taught forbidden knowledge, including weaponry, cosmetic sorcery, contributed to the corruption of humankind before the flood. We just got that, right? All right. But yeah, this part, this is linked to the goat that was sent into the wilderness, carrying away the sins of the people. All right. So that sounds like JC, who they claim to be. This says JC, the goat for Azzy. Hmm? Let me see. The Day of Atonement, or Day of Covering rituals, involved a goat being sacrificed as a sin offering for the congregation of Israel. Another goat being sent away into the wilderness by the hand of a suitable person. A lot is cast between the two of them to determine which will do. One for Hawa, and the other is for Azzy. One of the goats, the goat for Hawa, is killed for the nation as a sin offering, along with a bull for the high priest. So the goat on the Day of Atonement was killed for a sin offering. But they're saying now JC is that goat. The scapegoat is literally described as being for Azzy, a word that only occurs 4 times in the Bible. It is interesting that the name Azay appears as the name of a chief demon condemned to the wilderness in the book of Enoch. More generally, demons are associated with goats and with the wilderness. Is that right? A goat is related to the ruler of the people. Leviticus 4. Alright, so this is just a site telling you all the stuff about goats pretty much, but they linking it with JC. Alright, and it's linked, remember the story of Esau and Jacob? Remember Esau? Jacob had to dress up with goat skin to cover up so he can be like as hairy as Esau. So that's how hairy Esau is. He had to put goat skin on. Alright? Alright, but yeah, the goat theme is reoccurring in a lot of different places. Alright? But I just wanted to show you J JC, the goat for Azay. Alright? Cause let's go and go there. Yeah. So let's go to okay. Now we're gonna go to 4 Ezra real quick. Is that where I wanted to go? Let me see, y'all. Hold on. Nah, we're gonna stay on JC neck for a second. We're gonna stay on his head for a second. Alright. What chapter is it? Alright, because this, remember, this is testing. Oh, now it's gonna act funny now. Okay, hold on. Yeah, we're gonna stay on his neck. Let's go to John chapter 10. I hate to go here. Alright. But we gotta look at it. Alright, because this is straight up. Straight up. Debauchery. Alright. Matter of fact, hold on. Before we get that, we gotta go to Ezra first. My fault, y'all. I gotta remember the flow. Let me see. We're going to second Ezra, which is for Ezra, chapter 13. Okay? Alright. This is in it came to pass. This is verse 1. Second Ezra or for Ezra, chapter 13. And it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And lo, that a man waxed strong with thousands of heaven, with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice out of his mouth, the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth fails when it feels the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain. He graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And afterward this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him was sore afraid, and yet dared fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Alright, he was in dragon form. He's been sending fire out his mouth, blast of fire. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, everyone, so that upon a sudden of innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Afterward saw I the same man come down from the mountain, and call unto him another peaceable multitude. And there came many people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, and some of them were bound, and other some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awakened and said, You have showed your servant these wonders from the beginning, and have counted me worthy that you should receive my prayer. Show me now yet the interpretation of this dream. For as I conceive in my understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. For they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand the things that are laid up in the latter days, so we talking latter days, which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind. Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. Yet it is easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days. And he said unto me, and said, the interpretation of the vision shall I show you, and I will open unto you the thing that you have required. Whereas you have spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril in that time has kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith towards El Shaddai, the Almighty. Know this therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. This is the meaning of the vision. Whereas you saw a man coming up from the midst of the sea, the same is he, whom Hawa has kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. And whereas you saw that out of his mouth there came a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor instrument of war, but the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him, this is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when Hawa will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass. And the signs shall happen which I showed you before. And then shall my son be declared, whom you saw as a man ascending. My son? But we're not talking JC. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land lead the battle they have one against another. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as you saw them, willing to come, to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and built, like as you saw the hill graven without hands. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into tempests, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame. And he shall destroy them without labor by the Torah, which is like unto me. And whereas you saw that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner of their own land in the time of Husha, Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters. So came they into another land. Azareth. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would lead a multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there guard their statues which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Parath by the narrow places of the river. For Hawa then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Azareth. Then dwelt they there until the latter time, and now they shall begin to come. Let's go ahead and finish it. And Hawa shall stay the springs of the streams again, that they may go through. Therefore saw you the multitude with peace. But those that be left behind of your people are they that are found within my borders. Now when he destroys the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. And then shall he show them great wonders. Then said I, Why show me this. Wherefore have I seen the man coming up from the midst of the sea. He said unto me, like as you can neither seek out nor know the things that are in the deep of the sea, even so can no man upon earth see my son and those that be with him, but in the daytime. This is the interpretation of the dream which you saw, and whereby you are here lightning. For you have forsaken your own way and applied your diligence unto my Torah and sought it. Your life have ordered in wisdom. You have ordered in wisdom and have called understanding your mother, right? Wisdom, your mother above. And therefore have I showed you the treasures of Hawaii. After another 3 days I will speak other things unto you and declare unto you mighty and wondrous things. Then went I forth into the field, giving praise and thanks unto greatly unto Hawaii because of his wonders which he did in time, and because he governs the same, and such things as fall in their seasons. And there I sat 3 days. All right, you ask a Christian, who is talking about? Oh, that's gotta be JC. Oh, JC, huh? Let's go get some clarity on that. You said JC? Okay. Let's go to Psalms 89, verse 1 through 4. I will sing the mercies of Hawaii forever. With my mouth will I make known your faithfulness to all generations. For I have said, mercy shall be built up forever. Your faithfulness shall you establish in the very heavens. I have cut a covenant with my chosen. I have sworn 7 oaths unto David, my servant. Who? Your chosen, David. Your seed will I establish forever and build up your throne to all generations. We talking David, man. King David. David. All right, that's who we talking about. All right, King forever. Forever. All right, let's go. I will make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth. Let's get another witness. We got multiple witnesses on this, man. I don't know what Christians talking about. I don't know what they thinking. All right. They spend too much time in that new test, and they forgot about the old, man. The ancient love song. All right, where was I going? I'm going to Ezekiel, man. Hold on. I'm going to Ezekiel 34. All right, we'll get 2 verses real quick. 23. And I will set up one shepherd over them. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's go back. 22. Therefore will I save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey. I will judge between cattle and cattle. All right. All right. This is thus says Hawaii that's saying this. All right. And I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them. Who? Even my servant David. He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. Okay? And I, Hawaii, will be their power, and my servant David, a prince among them. I, Hawaii, have spoken it. All right? We ain't done. Let's go to 37. Ezekiel 37. In verse 24, and David, my servant, shall be king over them. And they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and guard my statutes and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. And they shall dwell therein, even they and their children, and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince. For how long? Forever. Alright, hold on. We ain't done. We ain't done with them. Let's get it. Go to Hosea. Alright. We might as well get this whole chapter, chapter 3. Then said Hawah unto me, Go, yet love a woman beloved of her friend, yet a woman who breaks wedlock according to the love of Hawah toward the children of Israel, who look to other Elohim, or false gods, and love flagons of wine. So I brought her to me for 15 pieces of silver, and for a homer of barley, and half homer of barley. And I said unto her, You shall abide for me many days. You shall not play the harlot, and you shall not be for another man. So will I also be for you. For the children of Israel, Yasharel, Washarel, shall abide many days without a king, without a prince, without a sacrifice, without an image, without an ephod, without teraphim. Afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek Hawah, and David, their king. David, and shall fear Hawah and his goodness in the latter days. Alright. In the latter days. Let's get another one. We got many witnesses, many prophets. Alright, we're going to Isaiah now. 42. I am Hawah, that is my name. Verse 1. And my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare before they spring forth. I tell you of them. Sing unto Hawah a new song and praise from the end of the earth. Ye that go down to the sea and all that is therein, the isles and the inhabitants thereof. Let the wilderness and the cities thereof lift up their voice, the villages that Kedar inhabitants. Let the inhabitants of the rocks sing. Let them shout from the top of the mountains. Hold on, did I skip some? I skipped some. Hold on. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. Sing unto Hawah a new song, his praise from the end of the earth. Ye that go down to the sea and all that is therein, the isles, the inhabitants thereof. Let the wilderness and the cities thereof lift up their voice, the villages that Kedar inhabits. Wait a minute. Oh, I just skipped all of that. All right, hold on. Is this the one I wanted to get? All right, no, this ain't the one I wanted to get. All right, okay, but you get it, right? You get it? Okay, David. David is the elect one. All right, in scriptures, he's the elect one. All right, the elect are those that's going to make it into the kingdom, the righteous. But the elect one, that's King David. All right. Now that we got that established, what your man talking about? All right. I ain't going to go through this whole chapter because you can see it from the beginning. I am the good shepherd. What? I was going to read this whole chapter, but I don't feel like going there, man. This whole chapter. Go read John chapter 10, man. We just saw that David is the shepherd, right? So this whole chapter is a lie. All right. He says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. He gave up his own life. But that's forbidden, man. All right? Human sacrifice is forbidden, man. Now, now that we got the scripts, all right? Oh, yeah. Here you go. Here goes some of your good shepherd churches, man. Look at them. Here you go. See that? Some of these are real nice. But all these is going to burn. All right? All these going to get burnt down. They got to go. Now, why are we talking 400-year prophecy today? All right? Okay, we got to get Daniel chapter 7. All right, one more script in. All right, because we're talking the 4 beasts in Daniel 7. Let me see. Let me see if we can get it. Yeah, it look like this drop can be a little longer than I expected. Oh, well. I'll try and knock this out in 2 hours or less. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babel, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spoke and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea, and the 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made to stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, second, like a bear, it was raised up on itself, on one side, and had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, like a shepherd, which had upon the back of its 4 wings of a fowl, the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured, it broke in pieces, and stamped the remnants with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. And I considered the horns, and beheld, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of men, and a mouth speaking great things. And I beheld till the thrones were cast down, the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. 1,000,000 ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the Sephirim were open. All right, the books was open. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spoke, I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a period of time. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man, came with the clouds of heaven. They inserted that. And came to the Ancient of Days. They brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion, just like we got, right? We just got that. Hawa set him up, right? All right. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. I, Daniel, was grieved in my ruach and in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings who shall rise out of the earth. But the Kadeshim, right, the holy ones of Hawa, shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and forever and ever. Then I would know the truth of the four beasts, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, his nails of brass, which devoured, broke in pieces and stamped the remnant with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up before him, 3 fell. Even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spoke very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld that the same horn made war with the Kadeshim, and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the Kadeshim of Hawa. And the time came that the Kadeshim possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of the kingdom are the 10 kings that shall rise, and another shall rise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against Hawa, and shall wear out the holy ones of Hawa, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a period of time and times, and the dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdoms and dominion, the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the Kadeshim of Hawa, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me. But I kept the matter in my heart. All right. So, let's get a little breakdown of that. All right. Where is that? Do I even have a breakdown of that? Okay, now we got a video on that. Hold on. Let's get this video in. Alright. Don't I got a fair use or something around here? Yeah. Alright, just so you know. Let's get it.
The 4 beasts are identified in verse 17 as 4 kings. The 4 beasts correspond to the 4 parts of the image in Nebuchadnezzar's dream. The first beast is a winged lion. Since the main gate of Babylon was tiled with images of winged lions, we can be sure that the lion represents Babylon and King Nebuchadnezzar. The second beast is a lopsided bear, which symbolized the lopsided coalition of Media and Persia. The 3 ribs in the bear's mouth may suggest Persia's appetite for conquest. The third beast is a 4-headed leopard with wings. This strange beast represents Greece. The four wings may allude to the speed of Alexander's conquest of Persia. The four heads suggest the division of Alexander's empire into four parts after his death. The fourth beast is a strange creature with 10 horns. Since Rome followed Greece, this beast must symbolize the Roman Empire. Daniel is told that the 10 horns represent 10 kings.
Thank you, sir. Quick little breakdown. Appreciate that, man. All right. So now we're going to connect this all together. All right. Because in my last video, I threw in a little fun fact, and that's how we got to this point right now. Because I actually messed up. I said 1625 was Charles V, right? All right. Otherwise known as Carlos Quinto, but he was in the 1500s. All right, and this is definitely not what he looked like. But yeah, the Habsburgs. But he plays a part in this too, man. All right, he plays a part. Okay. Let's go to him real quick. All right. Because remember, in 1751, American statesman Benjamin Franklin wrote on an essay, America is a land of opportunity. As a part of this essay, Benjamin Franklin noted the demographics of Europe, the Americas, and Asia. As of his time, 1751, it's amazing how different the people of some less areas look today, much whiter because of war and expulsions. But nonetheless, Franklin's description of races in 1751 are in agreement with the artwork. All right. That was Ben Frank. All right. He said they all swarthy. All right. So we're just going to go through this real quick. These are some kings. This is Black Germany. All right. Europe and all that. All right. We're just looking through it just to show you. We're going to get to King Charles in a second. I'm not going to go through each and every one. We're just going to look through them. All right. It's a pretty well-known site right here. All right. You see what's going on? See what they're looking like, right? Who was this? 1356. When was this? 1300s? Okay. All right, you see what we got going on, right? They fighting against wild men, look like. Wild men. 1400s. All right. Okay. I'm just looking. We'll get to your man Charles in just a second here. Okay. What was that? All right, here we go. House of Habsburg. Okay. So they made the dead. They still made them brown, huh? Maximilian. Look at your man. All right. Margaret of Austria. Look at your man. Okay, we'll get there. We just gotta look through and see. Everybody was so-called swarthy or tawny or copper colored, right? Oh, these are real blacks, huh? All right, here you go. Look, they fake. Look, they transferred it into that. All right, there go Pope Eugene. Look at Pope Eugene. Come on now. All right, Martin Luther. He look familiar. The Retha. Alright, you got the Teutonic Knights with the cross. Alright. Which was an original. The cross was original for the wasn't it for the Four Winds? They hijacked that. All right. What it is? John of Saxony. Huh. Okay, here we go. Charles the Fifth. Okay. Now I believe this is when the Roman Empire, Holy Roman Emperor Charles the Fifth, 1500 to 1558. I believe this is when the Roman Empire got started, right? Or they took over, they hijacked the real Romans. You know, all they do is hijack. All right, nothing is original. All right, so this is what they got them looking like modern day. See that jaw, right? All right, there you go. They call it the Habsburg jaw. Ah, here we go. This one, look. You see the Inca kings in Peru? Now all of these, they kind of got the same style, swag, or whatever you want to call it. But this when it switches up, man. When you get to Carlos Quinto, you got a cross, got a different crown, got a different scepter. He got on a whole different get up. All right, man. This is the beginning of the hijack. All right, here you go, up close and personal. Right after Atahualpa. All right, we got this in the video I did on Peru, right? Carlos Quinto. There you go. All right, this panel shows the last 7 Inca emperors. These are the last 7. All right. And the subsequent first European emperor of Inca. All right, Charles V. So this is when the hijack starts, right? All right, and then they got them looking. Look, they look totally different now. But even these are melanated. All right, you can tell. They tried to whiten it up. Oh, come on, man. We can clearly see that, man. All right, here go your man. Charles V. All right. He got the LeBron beard, don't he? Let me see. Yeah, that's your man. There you go. All right. And he got the cut. So he had a cut in the middle of his beard. Something going on with that jaw. All right. That Habsburg jaw. And there you go. All right. But see, I had called it this Charles when it was actually this Charles. All right. This is Charles the First of England. So I got the Charleses mixed up. But I think he called Charles the First too, ain't he? Yeah. Also known as Charles the First, and that's King of Spain. So that's why I got mixed up at. But I'm glad I got mixed up. Because then I started looking into it, right? So he started his reign in 1625. Charles the First. All right. And he got executed. All right. They took him out, but we know that ain't what he looking like, right? All right. He's actually the son of King James. That wrote the Bible, King James, that's his son. All right. He started in 1625, man. Okay. Look at this. There you go. All right, that's the real Charles right there. Charles the First, son of King James. All right, he started his rule 1625. So that's what made me think of 400 years. All right, I just bumped into this somehow. I don't know why I bumped into this one day. And I thought, 1625, that was exactly 400 years ago. Interesting. All right, once again, I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying, that I know when the 400 year ends. But see how they hijacked it? Look at this version. Look at your man. All right, you got the same goatee, but that ain't the real Charles, man. That's the real Charles, man. All right, you see him? All right, I ain't got to read nothing about him. We got a little something about him. We gonna see if we can connect it. All right, let's see. We gonna get a quick video in real quick.
Hello and welcome to History Pod. On the 30th of January 1649, King Charles I of England, Scotland and Ireland was executed outside the banqueting house in London. Shortly after Charles's failed attempt to arrest the 5 members, the English civil wars began, but by the end of 1648, the Royalists had been defeated. Charles had been found guilty of committing high treason and was sentenced to death by beheading. Charles's trial began on the 1st of January 1649, where he was accused of a wicked design to erect and uphold in himself an unlimited and tyrannical power to rule according to his will and to overthrow the rights and liberties of the people of England. He was also held personally responsible for all the death and destruction caused by the Civil War, which had resulted in an estimated 6% of the entire population losing their lives. Charles, as a believer in the divine right of kings, refused to recognise the authority of the court. However, on the 27th of January, the sentence was passed. Charles was executed 3 days later, having requested to wear 2 shirts as protection from the cold, so that the crowd wouldn't think he was shaking from fear. 6 days later, Parliament abolished the monarchy. On the 30th of January 1661, the year after the restoration of the monarchy, and exactly 12 years after Charles's execution, the body of Oliver Cromwell was exhumed from his grave in Westminster Abbey. Cromwell, who was one of the regicides who had signed Charles's death warrant and went on to become Lord Protector during the interregnum, was then posthumously executed and his head placed on a spike.
Alright, got a little quick video on Charles. Right quick. Alright. So they say they sold his head back home, man. I don't know. But yeah. That's what's up. I think, yeah, it was Oliver Cromwell that took him out. But yeah, even his son, Charles II, King Charles Stuart II, was called the Black Boy, King of England. Alright. So this is his son right here. Alright. There you go. Look at your man. Alright. Alright, the Stuarts. Alright. We don't get into all this. I just wanted to show you. But yeah, man. Give me 1 sec. All right, all right. Okay. So you probably like, okay. So what you trying to say about the 400-year prophecy, man? All right, let's see if we can connect it. Cause think of the 400 years as jubilee cycles, not clock years. All right. While Scripture does not use modern calendar thinking, Hebrew prophecy is covenantal, not Gregorian. Time is measured by Sabbath years, jubilee cycles. A jubilee is 50 years. 400 years is 8 jubilee cycles, and that matters. What jubilee actually represents in Torah, jubilee is about the release of captives, return of inheritance, cancel of debt, restoration of identity, land returning to its rightful owners. So when Genesis 15 and the Apocalypse of Abraham speak of 400 years, they are not saying count 400 calendar years and something explodes. They are saying a complete covenantal suppression cycle will run its course. 8 jubilees, a full measure of oppression. All right. This aligns perfectly with identity erasure, forced religion, stolen land, hereditary bondage, which is why the transatlantic captivity fits this type better than Egypt. And we know that that happened in reverse, the transatlantic, right? All right. They was taken from over here and scattered, all right? Why the end looks like awakening, not fireworks. In scripture, Moses was born before Egypt collapsed. Deliverance began quietly, judgment unfolded in stages. So the end of the 400 years means truth returns, identity resurfaces, lies are exposed, the oppressor's authority weakens. This is exactly what is happening right now. See, Rome never fell, it got transferred. All right? The fourth beast is a system, the Roman system, right? All right? It devours the whole earth, tramples everything, is different from others, continues until judgment. All right? This beast does not vanish, it mutates. So Rome's authority path, this is critical. All right? Imperial Rome, Caesar, ecclesiastical Rome, the papacy, Holy Roman Empire, European crowns, colonial empires, modern financial legal systems, the same authority but different masks. So why does Charles matter? He's not the beast, but he was Holy Roman Emperor, ruled under papal authority, claimed Roman legitimacy, controlled vast global territory. And Charles the First, right, son of King James, he consolidated England, Scotland, Ireland, oversaw expansion of colonial systems. He laid the groundwork for hereditary racialized slavery. He enforced Roman Christian authority. All right? The Inca king chart is the smoking gun, which we just looked at. All right? Because Atahualpa, he was the last indigenous sovereign. After his execution, there were no more native kings, European kings inserted. And then Charles appears in the lineage, like we just saw, right? All right. So they removed the king, they replaced the authority, they rewrite history, they redefine the people and enforce new worship. All right. This is the same playbook used on Israel everywhere. All right. Now you got my Peru drop. We connected Charles, his functional identity, to the same as Shalmaneser. I'm not saying 100% he's Shalmaneser, but he's got the same function, and that's something that we're going to have to look into. But he captured Israel, he scattered tribes, he changed identity, he imposed foreign rule, globalized captivity, erased Israelite identity, imposed Roman Christian worship, and made bondage generational. All right? So, how does judgment actually unfold? Go read Daniel chapter 12. It's not destruction first, it's knowledge first. All right, Daniel 12, knowledge increases. Many run to and fro. The wise understand, the wicked do not. It does not say chains instantly fall. It says truth rises. That's what we're getting right now today, right? All right, that's what breaks beasts. So this is the pattern of judgment in Scripture. First, the truth is revealed. Then the authority questioning. Legitimacy collapses. Then there's internal division, external pressure, and final fall. Now he's saying we are between steps 1 and 3, but who knows, man? Who knows where we at? It seems like this is all happening. All right. While the world feels unstable right now, because the beast dies slowly, not suddenly. Rome is not destroyed by armies first, it is destroyed by exposure. Once people no longer believe its authority, its power is gone. Final synthesis, putting it all together. All right, 400 years is an 8 Jubilee cycle. All right, the captivity includes religion, identity, land, and law. Rome is the fourth beast. Charles represents Roman authority, not the beast. All right, the Inca chart shows the hijack. All right, so yeah, we get all this. It says you're not reaching, you are not confused, you are not late. See how they be trying? They be trying to boost you on that joint, trying to. But yeah, man. And all right, so the reason why Charles the First, the reason why he, remember him? We just showed, right? Where he at? Bring him back up for a second. Let me get the real Charles the First. Man, I keep hitting it. All right, King James' son. All right. Why does he matter? Right? Why does he matter? Because after he fell, let me see. That's when they set up the Commonwealth of England in 1653. All right? And this is the same system that we in under today. I know this firsthand living in a Commonwealth state. All right? The Commonwealth. All right? Notice the flag. Okay? See that red cross? Look. I'm about to just run through it now. All right, look. See that red flag, right? What we got? All right, the Urbano Monte map. What year was it? 1587? Don't quote me on that one. But yeah. Here go your man, King Philip. Here go Atahualpa, the last Inca ruler. Atahualpa of Peru, giving up the land. All right. See, he's holding Peru. See that? That's supposed to be Atahualpa. Now we know he ain't look like this. None of them look like this. All right. Maybe these faces got whitened. I think this is your man Charles Quinto, Charles V, right next to King Philip, because they was working together, man. And you see what flag they got? That red cross, right? That red cross, right? Huh? This is what we're trying to connect the dots. The Commonwealth. All right, the Commonwealth of England. That red cross. All right. Ain't nothing common about it. Because Commonwealth is just a whole body of people in a state. Okay? The wealth is not common. That just means a body of people in the state. All right, from the mid 15th century, 1400s. Okay, back to the map. You see what we got, right? And that's, we did a drop on this. This might be Gog right here. We don't know. But this is the demon. I got this translated before. This is the demonio, all right, that was ruling during this time. And you see what's, look, what's in the ships? Where we at? What's pulling up everywhere? All right, red cross, red cross, red cross, red cross. Who pulling up when Atahualpa is giving up the land? All right, we got red crosses everywhere. See this? All over the place, man. Look, they got you surrounded, man. You see that? All right. A picture tell you more than the words. You can see what's going on here. All right. Red crosses everywhere. All right. They all over the map, man. They everywhere. Look. That's all you see. All right. All in the name of JC, man. All right, these conquistadors pulling up. Now, yeah. So, let's look at the doctrine of discovery. Oh, wait, before we get there, hold on. Why does the Commonwealth matter? Well, what the Commonwealth actually was, not the school version, all right? All right. Now, note, I had to go back and forth with the robot to get some of these answers, man. All right? This wasn't just, this is after a lot of backslaps I had to do. All right? But what is the Commonwealth actually was? The Commonwealth of England was the first successful removal of a crown monarch in England. A declaration that sovereignty could exist without a king. A transition from divine right monarchy, state supremacy. But here's the key point. Most miss. The Commonwealth did not end empire, it perfected it. Alright, what changed when Charles I was executed? Authority, king by divine right, law equals crown centered, and subjects under a person. So when Charles was king, alright, it was king by divine right. But after 1649, the authority went over to the state. The law was institutional. Alright, and you were subjects under legal systems, not a man. This is massive. The execution of Charles I did not destroy Rome's system. It removed the need for a crowned head. Alright? This is Daniel's iron without a face. While the Commonwealth matters prophetically and structurally, the birth of the modern state under the Commonwealth, power shifted from the crown to the parliament. Alright? The governance became bureaucratic. The law became impersonal. Authority became abstract. This is the foundation of modern republics, constitutional governments, corporate states, administrative law. In other words, the beast no longer needed a king. Empire without a crown. The Commonwealth continued colonial expansion, enforced maritime law, strengthened trade monopolies, consolidated overseas holdings, So even without a king, colonies were still ruled, lands were still owned, people are still classified. Rome simply changed the management style. Alright? Oliver Cromwell, not anti-Rome, but anti-crown. He's the man who ended tyranny. But structurally, he ruled as the protector. Alright? He governed through military force, expanded imperial control. This is not freedom, this is empire without royal ceremony. Rome learned kings are optional, control is not. So how does this still affect rulership today? Well, the Commonwealth goes to the constitutional monarchy. It goes to the parliamentary empire, the modern nation state. So now we ruled over by the state, right? You got to register in your state and all this and that. All right? The restoration brought the monarchy back, but it never regained absolute power. From that point forward, kings reigned but did not rule. Laws ruled, institutions ruled, contracts ruled. The system is still alive. All right, the hidden continuity, legal personhood, one of the most important legacies of the Commonwealth era. Authority became vested in legal entities, not flesh rulers. This laid the groundwork for corporate governance, admiralty jurisdiction, state personhood, subjects becoming citizens, legal status. All right, this is why governments today function without kings. All right. Power survives regime change. All right, Daniel 7 again. It devours the whole earth and tramples it, not with crowns, with law. Huh? Daniel's fourth beast. This is the transition moment. It is not overthrown by humans. It is judged by the Ancient of Days. Exists until the end. The Commonwealth marks the moment when the beast sheds the need for royal bloodlines and becomes systemic. Okay? Why this matters for the second Exodus theology? Because the prophets say deliverance comes while the oppressor still exists. Judgment comes later. Regathering happens under empire. That only makes sense if the empire is not tied to a throne but to a system. The Commonwealth proved that. Final clarity. Alright. Charles I's execution did not end the empire. It ended the crown absolutism. It birthed stateless sovereignty. Empire became legal, abstract, global. The system still governs today. Rome did not die, it evolved. Alright? This is why modern governments feel faceless, authority feels unavoidable, power feels everywhere and nowhere. This is the fourth beast in its mature form, man. Alright? Now, let me see. So, like I said, I'm not trying to prove when the day of the 400 years is up, but I mean we just linking things together. That's all. All right. Hold on. What was that? Go back. All right. Doctrine of discovery. Okay. On March 30th, 2023, the Vatican formally repudiated the doctrine of discovery. They repudiated the doctrine of discovery, you know, the one that got us in perpetual servitude or perpetual slavery, right? Dumb Diverses, 1452. They repudiated it. What does that mean? They cast it off by divorce. They rejected it. They refused to accept it. So cause shame is causing shame to them. All right, so they repudiated it. You shouldn't still be in perpetual servitude, right? Okay. So that's what they said they did, right? Alright. But ain't nothing changed. What we get? You got a stimulus check? Oh, that was like in 2021. So that was even before this, wasn't it? You ain't get nothing, man. You ain't get a letter in the mail say, hey, we sorry. Alright? But somehow, some way, they repudiated the doctrine of discovery in March 30th, 2023. And those numbers, look, 33223. So even there, they're playing some type of ritual. Alright? But yeah, just in case you didn't know, these are a couple of things that happened. It wasn't just the 1452 dumbed down verses, which put you in perpetual servitude, all right, which gave them the authority to take everything, movable and immovable. But in 1455, Pope Nicholas V wrote the bull Romanus Pontifex, Romanus Pontifex, to follow up the dumbed down verses. It extended the dominion over discovered lands to Catholic nations of Europe. Along with sanctifying the seizure of non-Christian lands, it encouraged the enslavement of native non-Christian peoples in Africa and the New World. We know that's the Americas. So this extended it even more in 3 years later. And then almost 38 years later, almost 40 years later, you got the Inter Caetera. Pope Alexander VI issued the bull Inter Caetera, stating one Christian nation did not have the right to establish dominion over lands previously dominated by another Christian nation, establishing the law of nations. So if you was Christian, you was good back then. They couldn't come take your land as long as you was Christian. Alright? But you got people today that swear up and down they some die-hard Christians. And that's what they is, because they gonna die hard being a Christian. Alright? You still following the same cross that conquered you, man. Alright? In 1537, look, Pope Paul issued a bull which forbids the enslavement of indigenous peoples of the Americas and all other people who could be discovered later. Oh, he did, huh? In 1537? That's around the time when they was over there in Mexico and all that. So yeah, this didn't change anything. Alright, they still conquered you, man. Alright, just to go over it real quick, just so you know, just throwing that out there. But yeah, man, where we going next? Let me see. Jeremiah 16, man. Jeremiah 16, real quick. The word of Yahweh came also unto me, saying, You shall not take a woman, neither shall you have sons or daughters in this place. For thus says Yahweh concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bore them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth. And they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine. And their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. For thus says Yahweh, enter not into the house of mourning, neither go to lament, nor bemoan them. For I have taken away my peace from this people, says Yahweh, even loving kindness and mercies. But the great and small shall die in this land. So this is Yahweh doing this to you. All right, punishment. They shall not be buried, neither shall men lament for them, nor cut themselves, nor make themselves bald for them. Neither shall men tear themselves for them in mourning, to comfort them for the dead. Neither shall men give them the cup of consolation to drink for their father or for their mother. You shall not also go into the house of feasting, to sit with them, to eat and to drink. For thus says Yahweh, the Most High of Israel, behold, I will cause to cease out of this place in your eyes and in your days the voice of mirth. Alright? The voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride. And it shall come to pass when you shall show this people all these words, and they shall say unto you, wherefore has Yahweh pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what is our iniquity? Or what is our sin that we have committed against Yahweh? Then shall you say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, says Yahweh, and have walked after other Elohim, these false gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not guarded my Torah. That's your job right there, to guard that Torah. And ye have done worse than your fathers, for behold, ye walk everyone after the imagination of his evil heart. The imagination of his evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me. Therefore will I cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers. And there shall ye serve other Elohim day and night. Don't this sound familiar? This sound like what we got in Genesis to Abraham, right? Alright. There shall ye serve other Elohim day and night, where I will not show you favor. Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, Yahweh lives, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Mizraim. But Yahweh lives, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, says Yahweh, and they shall fish them. After will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them for every mountain, from every mountain, and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. For my eyes are upon all their ways, and they are not hidden from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from my eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double. Recompense their iniquity and their sin double. Because they have defiled my land, they have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. O Yahweh, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction, the other nations shall come unto you from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies. Like they doing now, right? Like we doing right now. Hold on. Surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Shall a man make Elohim unto himself? And they are no Elohim. See? No gods. Therefore, behold, I will this once cause them to know. I will cause them to know my hand and my might, and they shall know that my name is Yahweh. Did you get that? All right. Did you get that one? They gonna know. All right. Just get down or lay down. You better get down. You don't want to lay down. Trust and believe that. But yeah, man, we moving on. I think I got one more of these I want to get. All right, one more. Let me see. Uh, oh, we already did that one. Hold on. Did we do this one? Okay, yeah, we did all these. We did all these. All right, cool. So he started Charles V. Where is that? Where he at again? Yeah, Charles I of England. All right. This is what caught my attention in 1625. I said, hey, 400 years ago. So since he started in March 1625, his first year ended in 1626. So in 2026 would be the end of 400 years from this date. And that's ironic because that's right around the time of the new year, which they think they're getting ready for right now, right? All right, people worshiping a new year with no weather change and in the middle of winter. But we know it starts around end of March. It's supposed to start at the 1st of April. But they've mixed up the months. The months only supposed to have 28 days. They just messed everything up on the calendar. Calendar-wise, they messed everything up. So around the end of March, you know what I'm saying, you can tell when that springtime hit. All right? And the sun and the moon, I think it has to do with the equal amount of time between the sun and the moon. That's when you know exactly when the new year starts. All right, I think they call it the spring equinox, but they just trying to cover it up. That's why they got April Fool's Day on April 1st. But yeah, man. All right. So not to say that this, 400 years of captivity is gonna be over, but I just thought that this was interesting, seeing the times that we living in, right? But that's not even the point of this video, man. All right? Because if it was getting ready to happen, and the second Exodus was getting ready to happen, how many of us would truly be ready? All right? Because they done set up a new covenant, man. All right, with JC. All right, the new covenant is a biblical interpretation which was originally derived from a phrase in the book of Jeremiah. Of course, it always originates from the Old Testament, but see how they flipped it, right? Christians believe that a promised new covenant, new relationship with God was instituted at the Last Supper. Oh, really? As part of the Eucharist. Oh, now, I talked about the Eucharist before, man. That's what they got communion today, right? Do you know how it was back then, though? It won't just a piece of bread and a cup of cranberry juice, man. They was really eating the dead and drinking the blood, man. That's where it originates. But now they call it communion today. All right. It's got a new commandment in the Gospel of John. They got a new commandment. Look, they're just doing what they feel like, right? You ain't supposed to add. It's a sin to add or take away from the Holy Scripts. But they got new commandments and everything, man. Most Christians, let's zoom this in. Most Christians believe that JC is the mediator of the new covenant. They also believe that the blood of Christ, which was shed during his crucifixion, is the only blood sacrifice which is required by the covenant. Is that so? Protestants tend to believe the new covenant came in force with the death of JC. So the new covenant came in effect with the death of JC. They worshiping the dead. There are several Christian eschatologies that further define new covenant. For example, inaugurated eschatology defines and describes the new covenant as an ongoing relationship between Christian believers and God. Oh, really? That will be in full fruition after the second coming of Christ. See that? That is, not only will be in full fruition in believing hearts. Believing hearts. It will not only be in full fruition in believing hearts, it will also be in fruition in the world to come. Oh, is that so? What about that old covenant though? What is a covenant? Alright? It's an agreement. It's a pact. It's a promise. Alright? We still ain't finished the first covenant. They got a new covenant, man. Are they reading scripture correctly, man? They even got the new covenant churches, man. Look. Where is that? Is it gonna pop up? Look at all these new covenant churches they got, man. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. Look at this. It was loaded in that one, wasn't it? New covenant church. New covenant church. Look at this, man. Do not be like the heathen, man. Alright, don't do this. This is what not to do. Okay? All these people sitting up in there, they under an illusion. Mockery, dishonoring, derision, act of deception, delusion of the mind. Just like scripture says. Alright, we just got that in Jeremiah, man. Mocking, jesting. See? But what about that old covenant, man? Let's get it. Let's get it, matter of fact. We're going to Exodus 34 real quick. We almost done wrapping this one up. Verse 1. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, hew you 2 sapphire stones like unto the first, and I will write upon these sapphires the words that were in the first sapphires which you broke, and be ready in the morning, and come up in the morning unto Mount Sinai, and present yourself there to me in the top of the mount. And no man shall come up with you, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount, neither let the flocks nor herds feed before the mount. And he hewed 2 sapphire stones like unto the first. And Moshe rose up early in the morning and went unto Mount Sinai as Yahweh had commanded him, and took in his hand 2 sapphire stones. And Yahweh descended in the cloud and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of Yahweh. And Yahweh passed by before him, and proclaimed, Yahweh, Yahweh, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children unto the 3rd and to the 4th generation. And Moshe made haste and bowed his head toward the earth and worshiped. And he said, if now I have found grace in your sight, O Yahweh, let my master, I pray you, go among us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for your inheritance. And he said, behold, I cut a covenant before all your people. I will do wonders, such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation, in all the people among which you are shall see the work of Hawa. For it is a terrible thing that I will do with you. It's a terrible thing that I will do with you. Guard that which I command you this day. Behold, I drive out before you the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites. And take heed to yourself, lest you cut a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither you go, lest it be a snare in the midst of you. That's what they're doing today. They cut a new covenant with the inhabitants of the land where we at. And it is a snare in the midst of them. But ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, cut down their ashy poles. For you shall worship no other power. For Hawa, Most High, Hawa is my name. He is a jealous power. Lest you cut a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their Elohim, and do sacrifice unto their Elohim. And the one call you, and you eat of his sacrifice, and take of your daughters and take of their daughters unto your sons, and their daughters go whoring after their Elohim, and make your sons go whoring after their Elohim. All right, this was the warning, man, and it happened. All right, you shall make no molten false gods. The feast of matzah, unleavened bread, shall you guard. 7 days you shall eat that unleavened bread, as I commanded you, in the time of the month of Abib, right? April. For in the month of Abib you came out of Mizraim. All right, back when the months were straight. All right. All that opens the womb is mine, and every firstling among your cattle, whether ox or sheep, that is male. But the firstling of a donkey you shall redeem with the lamb. If you redeem him not, then shall you break his neck. All the firstborn of your sons you shall redeem, and none shall appear before me empty. 6 days you shall work, but on the 7th day you shall rest. In airing time and harvest you shall rest. And you shall observe the feast of Kasar. Which one is that? The harvest, all right, of the first fruits. Feast of the first fruits. All right. The feast of gathering of the crops at the year's end. Thrice in a year shall all your men children appear before Hawa. 3 times, right? The power of Israel. For I will cast out the nations before you and enlarge your borders. Neither shall any man desire your land when you shall go up to appear before Hawa. Thrice in a year. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven. Neither shall the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover, right, be left unto the morning. The first of the fruits of your land you shall bring into your house of Hawa. You shall not see for kid and mother's milk. And Hawa said unto Moshe, write these words, for after the tenor of these words I have cut a covenant with you and with Israel. And he was there with Hawa 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. And he wrote upon the sapphires the words of the covenant. The 10 Davarim, right? 10 commandments. They call the 10 Davarim or the 10 sayings. All right. It's just the 10 sayings because there's actually only 9 commandments. But we gonna get to that. And it came to pass when Moshe came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 sapphires of testimony in Moshe's hand, when he came down from the mount, Moshe knew not that the skin of his face shone while he talked with them. And when Aaron and all the children of Israel saw Moshe, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come nigh him. And Moshe called unto them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the assembly returned unto him. Moshe talked with them. And afterward all the children of Israel came nigh, and he gave them the commandment, all that Hawa had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. Until Moshe had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face. But when Moshe went in before Hawa to speak with him, he took the veil off. Until he came out, he was so bright he had to cover his face. All right? And that was just from being around Hawa. And he came out and spoke unto the children of Israel which he was commanded. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moshe, that the skin of Moshe's face shone, and Moshe put the veil upon his face again until he went in to speak with them. All right, what about this, man? Did y'all forget about this? All right, did they forget about this? They say, oh, it's a new commandment. It's a new commandments, new covenant, and they got a new power. Huh? Which ain't nothing but an idol, man. This pagan worship going on today, man. That's all they've been doing lately. It's ritual after ritual. We're about to go right back into another ritual. People so blind, they don't even look this stuff up to see what they doing. They don't even understand the concept of the ball dropping and how that's really your demise, and the pagan god Janus and all that they doing all this stuff for. They don't even understand what they doing. They just walking right into the fire, man. But it's idolatry, man. Whether you know it or not. Because you will perish from your lack of knowledge, man. It's not even excusable no more. When they get up there on Judgment Day and say, well, I didn't know. Well, you had a smartphone, right? You could have looked that up. Apparitions, ghosts. This ain't even real. Idol. It's not even real. It's a figment of your imagination because you believe it's real. You give it the power. It don't have no power unless you give it to it. It don't have no power. Alright? What is an idol, man? This is why we got done dirty, done bad, man, because of the idols. That's it. Alright? But look. At the end it says, a human object of adoring or devotion. A human object of adoring devotion. So, anything that you adore more than Hawa becomes your idol. Alright? Something idolized. So, you don't want to keep the Shabbat. You want to go get some money. That's cool. Just know that you turned that into your idol. Alright? You got something that you might, you lean on that more than you lean on Hawa, because Hawa is the only rock you're supposed to lean on. But anything else that you're leaning on other than Hawa, that you putting over Hawa, that's your idol. You're doing the same thing that we did and we got put into this captivity. Alright? You can turn anything to an idol. Anything. And that's what they gotta understand. This video wasn't about proving that we in a 400-year end of 400-year captivity. This is to prove where's your mind at? Where's your heart at? Alright? Where's your Hebrew heart at? The seat of intelligence and determination. Right? Where your heart at, man? Is your heart with Hawa? Not sometimes, but all the time. Huh? You got strings attached? This is just going over some of the meanings of the Hebrew word of heart, but I thought this was interesting because it says, where this root may have come from isn't clear either, but note that very common prefix describes a motion toward, whereas the equally common verb means to come, or rather, to move from a condition of wide dispersal toward a focal point of contraction. To move. It's a motion. A motion. Which one I wanted To the Hebrews, a creature with the heart was a creature who was able to assess the kaleidoscope of impulses around him, sieve out the things that were most important, and more or less disregard the rest. The having of a heart, and thus of seated courage and resolve, is the foundation of a requisite of the forming of an intelligent mind. The opposite of having a heart is being either ignorant, indifferent, or cowardly. So if you're being ignorant today, you don't even have a heart. See that? A lot of ignorance going on. They're ignoring the Shabbat. They're ignoring the Creator. They're ignoring the children of the Creator. They're ignoring those 10 Davram, or those 9 commandments. There's a lot of ignorance going on today, isn't it? Huh? Let me get one more in here. Here we go. So, if your heart ain't right, guess what? The heart may be circumcised. That's in Deuteronomy 36, Jeremiah 9. Although it is never quite explained what that means in practice, why a surgical procedure done to the male yarek might affect the leb from Deuteronomy 36, we learn that Hawa will circumcise our heart and the heart of our descendants, so that we will love him with all our heart and with all our soul, and so that we may live. See that? So your heart was going to get circumcised by Hawa. But that's not until that great and terrible day happens. But this is what happened, right? When you got your heart on Hawa, your emotions are in check. You're in what's called a upward spiral. That's why it is 9. All right, it's 9 commandments. The first 2 go together. All right, because a 9 is an upward spiral. All right, shout out to 9 spiral. All right, when you're in the upward spiral, you got contentment, hopefulness, optimism, positive expectation, belief, enthusiasm, passion. This is where you get your joy, man. All right, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation, man. All this happens when you keep those 9 commandments. But if you go against them, you in a downward spiral. All right, now you got boredom, and boredom leads to sin. Pessimism, you think everything's bad. You get overwhelmed, you doubt, you blame, you got anger issues, you hatred, rage. This is a downward spiral. Frustration, impatience, disappointment, worrying, discouragement, revenge, jealousy, fear, depression. You're powerfulness. Look, when you get all the way down bad, you ain't got no power no more. You're powerfulness. You're a victim. See that? Because you lost your power. Hawa is your power. But Hawa told you to keep those commandments so you can have that joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. And you'll be content. All right? That's what those commandments do. That was the foundation of the covenant. Those 10 commandments. Okay? Guard those so you can guard your life. Now, let me see. I think we got 3 more scriptures. And we're going to wrap this one up, man. Alright. This is what you got to do. if you're in a downward spiral and you feel like you spiraling downward, this is what you got to do. All right? Second Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. All right? What version you want? Let's get the English Standard. If my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and forgive their sin and heal their land. This is redemption. But first, you got to humble yourself. All right? You got to realize what's going on with yourself first. Now, I appreciate y'all rolling with me. I didn't know how this was going to go. We just kind of like, freestyled it a little bit. But let's go on over there to First Baruch. And let's get it. We're going to get 4 and 5, man. Alright, this is more of a motivational video. Alright, because remember, anything can become your idol if you make it that way. Alright, you are your worst enemy. Alright, you let that adversary in the door and take over. That's why you got to guard these commandments. But here we go. This is the Sefer of the commandments. This is First Baruch chapter 4. This is the Sefer of the commandments of Hawah and the Torah that endures forever. All they that guard it shall come to life. See? But such as leave it shall die. There you go. Turn you, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that you may be illuminated. Like Moshe we just got, right? Give not your honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto you to a strange nation. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to Hawah are made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Ye were sold to nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved Hawah to wrath. Ye were delivered unto the enemies, for ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils, and not to Hawah. Ye have forgotten the everlasting Hawah that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. For when she saw the wrath of Hawah coming upon you, she said, Hearken, O ye that dwell about Zion, Hawah has brought upon me a great mourning. For I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. The everlasting brought upon them. With joy did I nourish them, but sent them away with weeping and mourning. Let no man rejoice over me, a widow, and forsaken of many, who for the sins of my children am left desolate. This sounds like your mother speaking, because they departed from the Torah of Hawah. They knew not his statutes, nor walked in the ways of his commandments, nor trod in the paths of discipline in his righteousness. Let them that dwell about Zion come, and remember ye the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting has brought upon them. For he has brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation, and of strange language, who neither reverenced old man nor pitied child. They have carried away the dear beloved children of the widow, and left her that was alone, desolate, without daughters. But what can I help you? For he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies. Go your way, O my children, go your way, for I am left desolate. I have put off the clothing of peace, and put on upon me the sackcloth of my prayer. I will cry unto the everlasting in my days. Be of good cheer, my children. Cry unto Hawah, he will deliver you from the power and the hands of enemies. For my hope is in the everlasting, that he will save you, and joy is come unto me from the Holy One, because of the mercy which shall soon come unto you from the everlasting, our Savior. Who? Hawa, the everlasting is our Savior. For I sent you out with mourning and weeping, but Hawa will give you to me again with joy and gladness forever. Like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they shortly your salvation from Hawa, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from Hawa, for your enemy has persecuted you, but shortly you shall see his destruction, and shall tread upon his neck. My delicate ones have gone rough ways and were taken away as flock, caught of the enemies. Be of good comfort, O my children, cry unto Hawa, for he shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. For as it was your mind to go astray from Hawa, so being returned, seek him 10 times more, and 10 times more on your return. For he has brought these plagues upon you. For he that has brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave you that name will comfort you. Miserable are they that afflicted you, and rejoiced at your fall. Miserable are the cities which your children serve. Miserable is she that received your sons. For as she rejoiced at your ruin and was glad of your fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. For I will take away the rejoicing of her multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. For fire shall come upon her from everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. O Jerusalem, look about you toward the east, and behold the joy that comes unto you from Hawa. Lo, your sons come, whom you sent away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of Hawa. Put off, Jerusalem, the garment of mourning and affliction, and put on the comeliness of the glory that comes from Hawa forever. All right, this ain't a time of mourning. It's a time of glory. Cast about you a double garment of the righteousness which comes from Hawa, and set a diadem on your head of the glory of the everlasting crown. For Hawa will show your brightness unto every country under heaven. For your name shall be called of Hawa forever, the peace of righteousness, and the glory of Hawa's worship. Arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about toward the east, and behold your children gather from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of Hawa. For they departed from you on foot, and were led away of their enemies, but Hawa brings them unto you exalted with glory, as children of the kingdom. For Hawa is appointed that every high hill and banks of long continuance shall be cast down, and valleys filled up, to make even the ground, that Israel may go safely in the glory of Hawa. Moreover, even the woods and every sweet-smelling tree shall overshadow Israel by the commandment of Hawa. For Hawa shall lead Israel with joy in the light of his glory, with the mercy and righteousness that comes from him. A loud while. We got one more, and that's it. We're going to wrap it up. All right. Ahab, to you. You still here right now? You rocking with me? Ahab, man. Appreciate you. Much love. All right. We're going to head over here to the prophet Isaiah, Uncle Isaiah, and we're going to end it like this. All right. Chapter 45, verse 1. Get that a little bit of that water. Thus says Hawa to his anointed, all right, to the Koresh, all right, Cyrus, whose right hand I've held to subdue nations before him. I will loosen the loins of kings to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut. I will go before you and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass and cut in the sunder of the bars of iron. I will give you the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that you may know that I, which call you by your name, am the power of Israel, for Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel my elect. I have even called you by your name. I have surnamed you, though you have not known me. I am Hawa, and there is no one else. Huh? I am Hawa, and there is no one else. There is no false God beside me. Huh? What JC talking about? He's sitting on the right hand. I girded you, though you have not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am Hawa, and there is no one else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Hawa, do all these things. Drop down, ye heathens, from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation, and let righteousness spring up together. I, Hawa, have created it. Woe unto him that strives with his maker. Let the potsherds strive with the potsherds of the earth. Let the clay say to him that fashions it, why did you make? What did you make? Or your work, he has no hands. Woe unto him that says unto his father, what did you beget? Or to the woman, what have you brought forth? Thus says Hawa, the Holy One of Israel and his Maker. Ask me of the things to come concerning my sons, and concerning the work of my hands command ye me. I have made the earth and created man upon it. I, even my hands, have stretched out the heavens, and all their hosts have I commanded. I have raised him up in righteousness, and I will direct all his ways. He shall build my city, and he shall let go my captives. Not for price nor reward, says Hawa. Thus says Hawa, the labor of Mizraim, the merchandise of Cush, and of Sheba, men of stature shall come over unto you, and they shall be yours. They shall come after you. In chains they shall come over, and they shall fall down unto you. They shall make supplication unto you, saying, surely the Most High is in you, and there is no one else. There is no false gods. Elohim. Truly you are in power that hides yourself, O Hawa of Israel, the Savior. They shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. But Israel shall be saved in Hawa with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. For thus says Hawa that created the heavens, the Most High himself that formed the earth and made it. He has established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am Hawa, and there is no one else. I have spoken. I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I have not said unto the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain. I, Hawa, seek righteousness. I declare things that are right. Assemble yourselves and come. Draw near together, ye that are escaped of the nations. They have no knowledge that set up the wood of their graven image and pray unto a power that cannot save. Tell ye and bring them near. Yea, let them take counsel together, who has declared this from ancient time, who has told it from that time. Have not I, Hawa? Is there no Elohim else beside me, a just power and a savior? There is none beside me. Man, he said like 5 times what y'all talking about. Look unto me, and be ye saved at the ends of the earth, for I am the Most High, and there is no one else. I have sworn 7 oaths by myself. The word is gone out of my mouth in righteousness and shall not return, that unto me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear 7 oaths. Surely shall one say, in Hawa have I righteousness and strength. Even to him shall men come, and all that are incensed against him shall be ashamed. In Hawa shall all the seed of Israel be justified, and shall glory. All praises to Hawa, man. That's what this video is about. All praises to Hawa. Alright. Be ready. Stay ready. So you don't have to get ready. Alright. Let's keep the laws of Hawa. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Alright. Shalom.